Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today I'm going to be streaming some more Atari, and well, this is Labor Day long weekend, so it's a good time to actually play some Atari. Um, yeah, I'd like to hear what you've been up to all weekend. If you've been playing any games, if you have had time to play games. I know for me it's been pretty busy. We've been doing kind of a lot of things around here, so fitting in some video game time is always fun. Actually, this is why I like doing these live streams because this is really my chance to play some games and stuff. So whether it be Atari or Nintendo or Sega or whatever, this is really a good chance for me to really play and actually interact with everybody on the stream. So I'm just kind of setting up here. Sorry, I kind of had a little bit of a delay here because I wanted to start setting up everything earlier. My computer went all nutty and I had to shut it all down and then reboot it, and I'm sure you all know about that. Happens to everybody. So let's see, we got Mr. Toon in the chat there. Yeah, Labor Day weekend, happy to be here. And we got Adam Henry. What's going on, buddy? So yeah, I was trying to decide. I kind of was leaning towards Nintendo games today, but there's a reason why I picked Atari, and that is because I am doing my contest. I'm going to do a contest tomorrow to win some Atari games and something else, and I'm going to post that video tomorrow. I was going to try and post it today, but I didn't have time, so I'm going to actually post it tomorrow. And so there's going to be a contest video, so watch out for that. And I'm going to mention this again later on when a little bit more people are in the chat. Hopefully you guys can get, the drop on it. But anyways, yeah, it's going to be open to anybody, and you can just go on to the site and try and win some cool Atari stuff. So that's why I decided to do Atari in the end. Looks like we also have the Atari Creep, and he's going live on Instagram. That's awesome. I know, yeah, the Atari Creep usually tries to keep to that Sunday schedule where he plays Atari games on Instagram. So, I know the Sunday schedule is kind of sometimes ends up with both of us playing at the same time, which is unfortunate. But either way, I know the Atari Creep likes to post his videos afterwards, and so you'll be able to go and see it, even if you miss it watching my video, and vice versa. If you go to watch his video, you can come back and watch mine later. So that's cool. I'm just trying to decide. I kind of had a few games in mind that I wanted to play, and so I was thinking, what should I dive into right now? It'll be kind of a fun game. Just gonna get up there. Just going through all my list of games here. Qbert! Let's do this! And it's fun to interact with you. Yeah! That's the best part about doing the live streams. Whoa! Yeah, like I said, I was going to launch the contest video today. I recorded it a few times this morning. It took me a bit because I didn't like the way it was coming out, and I was still kind of really deciding on the details. And I wanted to make sure I got it perfect and the way I wanted it. And so, so I think I'm pretty happy with what I got now. And the video will be posted tomorrow. On Labor Day. I guess that's the actual date will be posted. Even though, it's the whole Labor Day long weekend. Always fun to have some time off and play some Atari. So watch out for that. Oh, looks like I just made that jump at the last second there. Fine with this one. I don't know. I'm not. I kind of like the Atari version of this. Maybe because it's a little bit easier. I don't know. I played this on the Nintendo. I've played it on pretty much as many systems as I could. I think I've even tried the arcade version. MVL Gaming. What's going on? Whoa. Still say this is a pretty decent look for, you know, a 2600 game. And it plays very well. It plays very similar to the, you know, the arcade. Hey, cool! We got the No Swear Gamer in the chat. Do you celebrate Labor Day up north? Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's the Labor Day long weekend for me, and so you know, it's a good long weekend. Get a little bit of time off. Always enjoy some time off. You know, and it's hit and miss, because I find that oftentimes when we do have some time off, we typically here as a family spend it cleaning the house. So playing video games is not always on the top of the list, but I try to throw them in when I can, and you know, even doing the live stream, I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go and do some live streaming, and it's like, really? Yeah. I figure this is a good time to play some Atari games. Like I said, I was going to play Nintendo originally, but because my contest tomorrow that I'm putting out is going to be some Atari games, I figure this will be a little bit more appropriate to play. Plus, I'm already sporting an Atari shirt, if you can see it on the camera there. We had a bank holiday recently over here, but still had to work. Ah, you know, that always sucks when you know, a lot of people have the day off and then you still have to go into work. I remember that working in fast food. I always had to like go into work when everybody else seemed to have the day off. It really sucked. Just checking in before I start an episode of Star Trek TNG with my wife. Well, at least you got the chance to show up for the beginning. We need a robot who can clean the house. That'd be nice. Like the Jetsons. Vintage Dennis. Hello! Rosie Robot. Yes, exactly. Wasn't that the Jetsons? I think the No Swear Gamer got it there. I think that was the Jetsons. Rosie? I didn't watch too much of the Jetsons. I watched them a few times. I was more of the Flintstones kind of guy. I really like the Flintstones. But when the Jetsons were on, I would, you know, sometimes put it on. It's kind of like, you know, if you watch Family Guy and then occasionally you don't mind watching something like American Dad. It's like, you know, it hits the spot if the other show isn't on. I still haven't decided how I like playing this game, if I prefer the joystick or if I prefer a gamepad. I think I'm starting to get used to the gamepad though, because pretty much all the systems I've been recently playing this on was a gamepad. Like even to some extent the Intellivision version being on the disc controller, which is very similar to a gamepad. Or at least kind of gives it the same idea as a gamepad. I actually really love a robot. They dust my game collection. It's a hassle. Yeah. Although I was going to say, we do have that, what is that, robot vacuum cleaner you can set up that just goes around your house vacuuming. Forgot the name of it. We do have those. If you really want that. Tire Creep saying, when I was growing up, I was told we would have robots. Still upset we don't. Yeah, there was a lot of misleading stuff when we were younger. I mean, geez, just watch Back to the Future 2. We were told we were going to get hoverboards and flying cars. And that was 2015. It's what, 2019 now? We still don't have flying cars and hoverboards? Time to check out the world of tomorrow at Epcot. I used to be very joystick inclined, but these days everything uses a controller, so likewise I'm getting used to that. Yeah, that's true. I mean, when I was gaming when I was a kid, I think almost everything I played on, if it wasn't an Intellivision controller, it was the Atari 2600 joystick that I either had attached to my Commodore 64 or an actual Atari. And that's kind of the way I like to play a lot of games. Like even today, I still prefer the Atari joystick. I think I like the feel of it, and I like the firm, control of it. Back to the Future 2 was lying to us all. Or it just created an alternate universe that never happened. I mean, if you think about it, Marty McFly did go back and, did make some changes, so maybe it's Marty's fault. When he went back, or when he went to the future and he changed the way the things were supposed to happen, maybe it's his fault we don't have flying cars. I don't know. Perhaps we should have a word with Mr. Marty McFly. He ruined it for the rest of us. We also had a show called Space 1999 where we had a space station on the moon. It was set in 1999. Yeah. I just watched a video from the 60s talking about what it is going to be like in 1999. It was funny to see how they were. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, like looking for those videos in the past where they kind of predicted the future, and you're like, obviously none of them really expected the internet to happen. Even Back to the Future 2, they didn't really predict the internet. They predicted fax machines, though. They did get a few things right. I mean, there was a few things in there that, talking about, coming in and speaking and things will happen. I mean, we have that now. We have that what is it called? The Alexa, where you just walk in and you're like, Alexa, turn my lights on. Alexa, make my dinner. I mean, we kind of have that going on. And we do have the flat screen TVs, so they did have a few things right. They just didn't predict the internet. Alright, No Swear Gamer, thanks for popping in. Time to go boldly go, or no one has gone before. Yeah, you do that. Tell us how it goes down. See you later, Swear Gamer. He's the No Swear Gamer, not the Swear Gamer. If you want the Swear Gamer, you're gonna have to watch the Angry Video Game Nerd. This video talked about email, but not as we use it today. Well, kind of like, the Star Trek thing where they predicted cell phones, essentially. They're little communication devices. Although I do remember reading about some story that was written a very long time ago where they kind of predicted the internet. And it was way before computers, so I think I can't remember what it was called, but I remember somebody in my last job told me about it. And I looked it up online, and surely there was some story way in the past about a supercomputer that can tell you everything that's going on, and it's like that's pretty much Google. So somebody in there, somebody had that in their brain, but yeah, unfortunately Back to the Future 2 missed the mark on that one. I think I'm more disappointed about the hoverboards not happening, because I think that would be really cool. I don't know much about, I can't really wrap my head around the flying car idea, because you see the way people drive cars on the road, and they're on tires, and they're on the road with brakes and all that stuff. Can you imagine these same people flying a car? We'd have people like crashing into stuff, not fueling up and running out of gas in the middle of the air and just like landing on people. I mean, yeah, I can't see flying cars being being a thing anytime soon. crap, I got a lot of flying discs on this one. Let's take advantage of it. I think the Atari 2600 version of this only had the 2 enemies, right? Ouch. I think I'm supposed to be making everything yellow. Yeah, crashing into buildings, that would be a thing too. I mean, you'd be sitting there looking out your office window and all of a sudden some car, you know, this drunk driver would be flying towards your building. That would not be fun. Last thing you need is an angry driver's car falling on your house, and whose insurance does it wreck? Exactly. I mean, even today, sadly enough, I watch the news, and I don't know how many times I've seen people driving into convenience stores, people's homes. Like, what is going on? Like, why are people driving off the road and into people's homes and into stores and all that? Like, what is going on? Kind of scary. I mean, not to mention, you know, the countless people that are hit just walking down the street, trying to cross the road. It's like, what is happening today? Scary stuff. Let's see, what else is there to play? Yeah, and the insurance too. Like, who would, you know, who's going to be covering flying car insurance? And are you going to need insurance in case somebody's going to fly their car into you? Because that's kind of scary. Let's play some Crystal Castles. I think this is Bentley Bear. I know I've played this before. I don't find this to be an easy game to play with a gamepad either. In fact, you know, this in the arcade was played with a roller ball thing, track ball, whatever you call it. Yeah, driving into buildings is a common thing. It's like unbelievable that people actually can drive their car, like physically drive their car into a building. It's like they're either drunk, they're not paying attention. Well, I know there's been some that are like, you know, senior citizens. They get in behind, you know, behind the car and or in the car behind the wheel, and they get confused. And they think they're in reverse, but they're in drive, and then they hit the gas, and then they drive into the store in front of them. I've heard that story a few times. I don't know how well this game is playable with a gamepad. It's very hard to get the... They're supposed to be the crystals. Good thing about this game is if you miss a few, the enemies eat those crystals up. So they kind of help you clear the level. Mind you, you don't get the points for it. So if you're going for points, it's not a good thing, but... I don't like how the staircase are like more like elevators. Kind of annoying. Alright. Take care. Atari Creep, he's going to be doing some live stuff on Instagram. If I'm still on when he's done, he'll pop in. I don't know how long I'll be, so yeah, maybe I'll be on, maybe I won't. A lot of this stuff is in the air. But yeah, check out the Atari creep afterwards. If you watch this, he will have his Instagram thing posted probably tomorrow. I think it's usually a day after. Let me get that hat. Yeah. There is a sequel to this game too, but it's I believe it's a homebrew, and it requires the Pokey chip. I remember looking it up on the Atari Age website. It's like oops, to buy it you have to like either send them a Pokey chip or a cartridge, I should say, with a Pokey chip in it, which is that extra sound chip thing. Or you have to pay extra money or something like that. And it's like a platform style game. Like this is more like a maze style, like a Pac-Man style game. But the other one, I think it's like Bentley Bear's Adventure or something like that. It's like a direct sequel to this game. And it's you know, homebrew. But it'll really look cool. So you should probably check it out. If you like Crystal Castles, probably check it out. It's on the Atari Age website. Hey, Mike Mayberry. Hey, Brian, I'm playing Batman Returns for NES while watching you. Now that's a skill. You're playing a game and watching me play a game at the same time. 2 different games. You know, I haven't actually really played any of the Batman games yet for the NES. I do have Batman, the first one, for the NES. I probably, if I have played it, I probably only plugged it in and tried it for like a minute after I bought it, but it would have been one of those, found it on, you know, cheap when Nintendo games were first went cheap on the shelf. Used. I picked it up. But, Sierra the Chosen One. How's it going? Did I say that right? Sierra? Is it Sierra? Or Sarah? Sierra. I butcher names all the time. Don't be offended. Okay, let's see. What else can we play? I mean, I like that one, but I don't think the joystick I'm using is giving it justice. Now here's a classic. Dig Dug. Or known as Mr. Do in some cases. Well, similar to it. Pretty great, how about you? I'm doing okay. It's Labor Day long weekend. I'm always happy on the long weekends. Alright, got them all. NES has really good Batman games. Surprisingly, the original Sunsoft one returned. The Konami and the Joker are all the latest. Yeah, I remember watching some of the Angry Video Game Nerds videos where he played a lot of the Batman games. I just remember the first Batman game because, you know, being based off the Michael Keaton Batman. I remember my friend had it for the Commodore 64, and we used to play it a lot. I don't know if we ever beat it, though. I think we got to a point where we, you know, got close to the end where the Joker was, and we didn't know what to do at that point. We didn't know how to beat him or something. But I'm not sure if I've ever actually played on the Nintendo one. I do have it. I probably bought it and said, you know, one day I'll sit down and play this, and I never really got around to it. So it's on my list. I got a lot of games on my list, but that's good. I mean, the more games on my list, the more videos I can make. It's one of the challenges of YouTube is, you know, the fear of not having any videos to do. Batman Returns on the SNES. Yeah, I remember Happy Beard Games doing a video on that. It looked pretty good. It looked more like an arcade. What do they call it? Those arcade games that kind of like a platform game. Oh, jeez. C64 Batman game had that awesome ocean loader music. Yeah, well, actually, I had I did have a Batman game for the Commodore 64, but it wasn't based on the Michael Keaton movie. It was a different one. So my friend had the one that was based on the Michael Keaton one, you know, where he was in his black Batman costume, and it kind of followed the movie. And I also had another one. I forget what it was called. Oops. Hold on a sec. I think I just got some weird notices or something. Hopefully the stream's still going there. I don't know what those were, but I got some weird messages on my computer there. Start again. Beat 'em ups, yeah. Whatever they called them. Kind of like typical arcade games like the RoboCop one and Street Fighter and Ninja Turtles, and that's how the Batman Returns video game looked like for the SNES. Yeah, like I remember playing the Commodore 64 one that I had, and it had two variants. There's one where you went against the Joker, and I think the other one you went against the Penguin. And you had to, like, you know, kind of solve some clues, and one of them took place on like a I don't know where it was, like an amusement park with roller coasters and stuff. I'll have to look into that again. It was an interesting Batman game. I remember buying it for the Commodore 64 and having a lot of fun with it. Hey, Extreme Wreck! What's going on? Playing some Dig Dug. I still say, you know, this version of Dig Dug is pretty good. You know, there's a bunch of Atari games that really were pretty surprising for being on, you know, the system that they're on. This is one of them. Get this guy. What do you know? I played Off the Wall in the Atari 2600 3 days ago. Yeah, I haven't actually tried that game yet. People have asked me about it, but I've never actually played it. Let's get these guys. And like I said earlier, there's... Oops. Just threw a rock boulder on myself. There's Mr. Do, which is like this one as well. Which is like a Dig Dug style of game. I think there's a bunch of games that kind of follow this format. Maybe you can on this stream. Possibly, yeah. I think I might have it. I don't know. It's weird how the music is like based on how he walks. Or when he walks, that's when you get the music. Yeah, you always have to remember, when you get down to the last guy, he just makes a break for it. Which is weird, but it's the way they decide to make the game. So once you get down to the last dude, you gotta run right up to the top. And try and catch the guy. Like this. Blow him up. I always say that some of these guys look like the same guys in Dragon Warrior on the NES. Yeah, the last one's running for his life. He's like, enough of this, I'm out of here. All my buddies are dead. I usually just go for pumping them up until they explode. I know you can go for the boulders and squish them. But you gotta like plan for that properly and execute it at the right time. But you do get more points. Like if you're playing for points, you definitely want to go for those boulders instead of always just pumping them up. But the timing has to be right. I might be able to get this guy. Uh-oh. Never mind. Ow. Got squished. See if I can get this guy. Got him. Okay, so now this guy's gonna run for it. See if I can get him over here. He's gonna have to come up at some point. Oh, he got me at the same time. Alright, dudes, it's 2 a.m. my time. Oh, 2 a.m. Brutal. Gotta try and get some rest before work. Alright, you do that. That's pretty crazy. 2 a.m. in the morning. Ugh. Alright, thanks for coming in. Yeah, I don't think I could stay awake that late. Is there 2 of them or what? Oh, there's 2 of them. I thought it was only one guy. I was wondering why he wasn't running for his life. I guess it's, you know, the graphics sometimes are a little bit flickering on the 2600, so can't always tell when there's 2 guys together. I remember Atari age when they had their high score challenge on this game. I didn't get anywhere near the high score. I'm not even sure if I even submitted my score because it was so low. It's one thing about Atari games is if you really like playing the same game over and over again, you're going to be good at these games. But for me, I always, you know, play a game for a little bit and then switch over to another one. So I never get really that good at one game. Sometimes I wake up at 3:30 a.m. for work. Ugh. You know what I hate? When, say you gotta get up, like for me, I gotta get up, I set my alarm for, I don't know, 7:20 in the morning. And then you wake up at like 7:10 or something. And then you think you still got time to sleep, but you don't. It's like, dang. And I set my alarm a little bit earlier than I need it, just so I can kind of wake up. I mean, I used to set, like, when I had to get up earlier than that, I used to set it right on time and force myself to just jump out of bed. But now I set it for a time where I'm able to just kind of, like, hit the snooze button a few times and just lay there. Try and regain some consciousness before I get out of bed. Oh, come back here. No. Oh. Off the Wall is an interesting breakout clone. Oh, okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember how that game played. Let's see if I have it. Off the wall. I think I passed it. Off the wall. There it is. Alright. Peasant, 1 player. What's going on? Oh, I see. Yeah, I see now why it's breakout. What's that shield do? Ooh. By any chance, is this an actual paddle game? Or is this a controller? It's one of those later Atari 2600 titles. Yeah. That's why I've probably never played it before. A lot of those later titles I never got to play. And I think a lot of us were like that, you know, if we didn't have our Atari anymore. Or if we were just too much playing, you know, Nintendo or something else. We might have not paid attention too much to some of the newer Atari games that came out. Now, what is that thing jumping around up there? It looks like it's a centipede thing. It's quite tricky. Whoa. It's very wide. I think that's what makes this difficult. I like how the ball's kind of like flickering like that. It's kind of funky. Oh. Heck, I believe that Acid Drop was the last Atari 2600 game in its lifespan. Acid Drop? Yeah, I still remember those, you know, the 1988, 1989, going into like Toys R Us and stuff and still seeing in television and Atari games on the shelf. And I think around that time I probably still had my Atari, but I didn't have it hooked up. Like it would have been like in a box or something. And I was probably only really playing Nintendo and Sega Genesis probably at that time. Hey, Green Lantern! What I missed. Well, let's see. What did I play? I played, what was I just playing there? Whoa, I was playing some Dig Dug. Okay, what was the first game I just played there? Sorry, I'm concentrating on this right now. Oh, what's that thing? A new character entered the field. Holy crap. Cubert and Crystal Castle. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, my brain is focused on this game right now. I couldn't even think. I don't know what that flying is. Is that just an obstacle or something? Or? This is weird. There we go. Oh. Now that thing looks like you have to either hit it or hit it with a ball or something. Well, when he's running back and forth, he's got that kind of... Almost looks like he has a shield or something. Like 73 cents. Mr. Toon's feeling like $1,000,000, and Green Lantern's feeling like 73 cents. This game's not easy. Am I playing it on like the hard setting or something? It says peasant. You know, in a way it's, you know, kind of like with Kaboom, where you get the small thing and the large bucket. Mario Party 8, but I keep losing. What happens if I just stand here? Guess you gotta move. Jeez. I feel like He-Man. Kind of a neat game. A little bit hard, though. It's like once something else enters the field, your attention gets swayed. The ball goes kind of funny in this. Kind of wobbles. Whoops. I think I'd like to try this with a paddle controller. I don't know if that's how it was originally released, though. You know how it is playing a paddle controller game with a D-pad. Not the best. Wink. He's playing Valkyria Chronicles, and I can't even pass the first mission because I suck so much. Don't feel bad. There's lots of games where we can't play it because we suck. Let's play some Pack Attack. Grim Monolith, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in. So I'm gonna play some Plaque Attack, which probably was you know, sponsored by the good people at the Dental Association about brushing your teeth, much like the Tooth Protectors game that came out. So Air Raid is like one of those super rare video games. Oh, Air Raid, yeah, I've heard of that one. That's that one with the funky T-handle. It's like a $1,000 game or something weird like that. Plaque Attack. Oh wait, isn't this a CCC bootleg copy? Yeah, this is the CCC one or whatever, CCE version of it. Uh-oh. Oh no! I'm being overrun by French fries. My teeth are gonna corrode. Like Pitfall. That's my kryptonite. Oh jeez. Strawberries aplenty. Gonna get some tooth decay and tartar. I've lost a tooth. I remember watching the No Swear Gamers video on this. He did a pretty good video on this. He was talking about it. Uh-oh. It's not good. It's not good. You know what I don't like? Your shot has to be, like, precise. This is, like, harder than Space Invaders. Maybe you should play Tooth Protectors. Yeah, let's just play a whole bunch of teeth games. Jawbreaker on the Commodore 64. So how has been Brian? Oh, pretty good. You know, it's end of summer blues, but it's nice having some time off. Play some video games, have some fun. Although, you know, most of the time we've just been cleaning the house, which is also good sometimes too. You can get rid of some of that clutter. Mr. Zydo, oh come on, strawberries? Yeah, oh, you know, strawberries are full of sugar, you know. Natural sugar. It's not just candy that rots your teeth. Fruit can too. Those teeth made out of they can't handle food. Yeah, well, much like our teeth. That's why we're always yelled at by the dentist to floss. Uh-oh, I'm out of teeth. Just call me Gummy Joe. Oh, crap. I just died. The clutter is my collection. Yeah, that's always the hard part, right? You gotta clean up your house, but then half of your clutter is the stuff you want to keep. Oh, I left working in the real world a long while ago. Yeah, exactly. Working in the real world. You work all day at work, and then you come home and you work. Everything's work, work, work. Potato chips are worse than candy, as candy rinses away pretty easy with just saliva. Oh, that makes sense. I mean, what's your poison? Salt or sugar? Personally, I'm more of a salt person. I like to eat chips. I refuse to work for anyone who makes you a slave. Yeah, well, unfortunately, that seems to be the thing with working nowadays, right? You work your butt off so your boss can have a good vacation. Oops. Yeah, then comes tooth protectors. I believe Tooth Protectors is a pretty sought-after game as well. Kind of like the Chase the Chuck Wagon. It was only like special order or something like that through the Dental Association. Ugh. You know what I'm surprised is that something like, say, McDonald's didn't start making video games until the Nintendo era. Nintendo and Genesis. You would think McDonald's would have jumped on the bandwagon during the Atari games, but it ended up being like Purina. And a few other games like Quaker Oats were Quaker Oats sponsored a few games, I believe, but never McDonald's. We never got a McDonald's Atari game. That would have been pretty wild. Probably would have been something to do with Ronald McDonald doing something. Even the cereal companies started to jump into the video game craze at one point. I think I still have a disc. There's like a, you know, Windows 98, Windows XP or something with a bunch of games on it. I got out of a box of cereal. Dope. I got Kool-Aid Man with Kool-Aid points back in the early 80s. Yeah, Kool-Aid Man. That's another one. I have that on the Intellivision. I'm not sure if I've tried it on the Atari yet, but I know the Atari one's much different than the Intellivision version. The Intellivision version was more of like a platformer style game, and the Atari was kind of like a shoot 'em up, sort of like that Plaque Attack game I was playing. Jeez. Chex Quest. I know that cereal box game very well. Yeah, Angry Video Game Nerd just did that, the Chex Quest thing, and it was like a Doom style game where they just mapped the graphics to look a little bit different or something. And of course, you know, McDonald's did have the McKids for the Nintendo, and then there was like, I think there was like a few games for the Sega Genesis. I don't know if there was a Super Nintendo one, I can't remember. But yeah, McDonald's did jump into it. I don't know if any other burger joints, like Burger King or anything. Although I do remember Burger King having some handheld games. Maybe even McDonald's too. They had like handheld video games. That would have been cool. I don't know why I didn't pick those up. Seems like something I should have grabbed, but who knows why I didn't. So I used to be obsessed with handheld games. I always loved those Tiger Electronics and stuff like that. Any video game that I could put in my pocket and take to school or work or wherever. I always thought those were cool. Even if it was just some crappy card game. Or a pinball game or whatever. Burger King had a game on Xbox. Holy crap. An Xbox game. There was an SNES one which was a port of one of their Genesis games, but that SNES port never got released. Burger King had those Xbox games. So what were they on the Xbox? I never, I didn't really get into Xbox, so I don't know much about the Xbox or any of the games on it. What kind of games were they if Burger King was putting out Xbox games? Were they actually games that were about Burger King, or was it just like, you know, regular games that they just released or made for, I don't know, Burger King release? Sometimes they did that. I think those ones I got out of the cereal box, they were just like, you know, game show games and stuff like that, classic arcade games. It wasn't like unique games or anything like that. It was just games they just put their name on. Whoa. This is not an easy game to try and read the comments with. Whoa! Sorry, I'm trying to play and read at the same time, so I might fall behind on the reading. Uh-oh, running out of fuel. That was close. Ow. So we're just going to read what people are saying there in the chat. Of all three Burger King games, Sneak King was the only good one. Yeah, I find that often happens too. They'd have like a whole bunch of games and only one or two of them would actually be playable. I like having portable system to play in my bed, yeah. Prototype of the SNES port has been found and dumped, though. That's cool. Sneak King, Big Bumpkin, and I can't remember the third one. There were 3 Xbox 360 Burger King games. Wow, this must have been around the time where I was just not really paying attention to Xbox. Or Burger King. I just found those cleaning out my garage. Sneak King, you played as Burger King mascot and had to sneak up on people and bring them hamburgers. Wow. Very original. Mr. Toon's saying who's gonna buy the Amico. I definitely am interested in the Amico. There used to be Sneak Kings everywhere. Lamp Stop used to pay $1 each for them. Pro strategy, shoot the fuel tanks as you're about to pass them for bonus points. Yeah, if you don't need the fuel. Okay, now do tooth protectors. Hey Brian, how's your channel doing? I think it's doing pretty good. I mean, hold on. Oh, okay, I just found those error messages I was looking. Yeah, I think it's doing pretty good. I mean, my views are pretty low, but I think a lot of people on YouTube are saying the same thing. Their views are pretty low. MC Mirror, what's going on, man? Let's go check the current values. Yeah, MC Mirror is good at that. I like MC Mirror's videos. He always talks about the games and the values of games, and does like little pieces of information about each game. Well, he talks about how, you know, the cost of the game from the past versus today. I am interested in the Amico. Yeah, the Amico is definitely a you know, it's an interesting system because it's kind of like adding a brand new style of system into the marketplace, and I think that's what a lot of people are having a hard time grasping that, because they're comparing it to the 3 big systems that are out, like the PlayStation, the Xbox, the Nintendo, and they're saying, well, we already got those, what do we need this for? And they're also saying it's going to be the same as cell phone games. So there's a lot of, you know, misunderstandings, you know, it's just, I think a lot of people are just not getting it. In fact, I've been talking with Tommy Tellerico, and I told him I was interested in doing a video on the misconception of the Amico. Because, you know, if you've been following a lot of the stuff been going on, I mean, even Pat the NES Punk did a video, he did another video, and Tommy Tellerico has been trying to, like, talk to them, trying to come on their show and explain, you know, some of the misconceptions they're talking about, and they're not really interested in it. And I thought, you know, I should do a video kind of highlighting a lot of the misconceptions. And then I spoke to Tommy about that, and I said, or if he's up to it, to do another live chat, because you know, I did a live chat with Tommy about a year ago, just before he started to really release the information, and he seems like he might be up to it. So hopefully that'll happen. We can do a live chat, and we can sit there and discuss and have people come on to the chat and actually voice their concerns, and he will talk about it. So GameStop no longer buys Burger King games. Average Sneak King price on eBay is $5. Yeah, so anybody that grabbed those for, you know, thinking they're going to get rich, I guess they're not. So this is River Raid 2. Let's play some River Raid 2. Interesting fact I learned about this game is it's kind of better to play this on an Atari Junior than it is to play it on an original Atari VCS. And I had this game, I got this as a birthday present, I remember, from my friend. Just around the time when you know, Atari was back on the shelf. And I was quite surprised at it. And I had the Atari Junior. That'd be great to have him on your show. Yeah, totally. Well, that's the thing. Like, I reached out to Tommy Tellerico about, you know, doing a video. And, you know, my thing was to say that I wanted to do a video about the misconceptions. And because, you know, he has been pretty vocal about it, and he goes and watches a lot of videos, people's videos on it. And I'm sure he's got a list of things in his brain about, all these people's misconceptions about the system itself. And I figure, he might be able to lend me a few and kind of throw them at me. And, that was my intention at first. And he was like, yeah, sure. But he said he was going to be out of commission for a couple of days. And so I was like, yeah, okay, no problem. He said he'll be available probably around Tuesday. And then I came back and I'm like, might be kind of fun if we did a live thing. Maybe we can do it live and some people can come in and kind of watch and comment and stuff, and he can answer some people real time. It's a very unappreciated gamer market. Yumiko's going to fill that void. Well, I think we just need something different because we've had, like, if you think about the last few years, we've had the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PlayStation, it's just going on and on and on. And then we had the Xbox, 360, the Xbox One. So, like, we haven't had anything different really hit the market. And I think it's a good time to actually get something different. We have been talking to Tommy too. We are setting up an interview with him, which will be part of our 11K sub celebration like in 2 weeks. Cool! The 3 Burger King games sell for an average of $12 together, so if you can bag them for $1, there's money to be made. You want to be part of it, Brian? Absolutely! I'm always game for that type of stuff. Pretty sure the moment they start seeing the games and the kids getting into them, the rumors will stop. Well, possibly. Hey, Ryan. Did you just start? No, I think, how long have I been going now? I think I started around 8:30. Somewhere around there. By the time I actually got going. Let's play some Robin Hood. Man, I suck at this game. I'm looking forward to the portable system, the Evercade. It piqued my curiosity. Huh. Portable systems are fun too. I always look at them a little bit different. You can have a Twitter and I can DM. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I suck at this. Am I on Discord? Not really. I think I've signed into somebody's Discord, or I've done something with Discord at one point, but I haven't actually actively set up anything on Discord or done anything with it. I've kind of like just been kind of focusing on, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I think that's about as far as I've gone. People have asked me about Discord and all that stuff, and even Twitch. Some people asked me if I was on Twitch, and I'm just like, so alright. Plus, I also have my own website. And it's just hard to keep up with all these different platforms. And when I do my live chats, I use Google Hangouts. And it goes live to my YouTube channel, so I don't do anything else other than that. What is your Twitter? I think it's Brian's_man_cave. I think that's my Twitter. If you go to my website, briansmancave.com, I have a Twitter icon there. You can click on that. Now, that should take you right to my Twitter. briansmancave.com. Darn, I missed the beginning. I've been jailbreaking my Wii all day. What does that mean? Jailbreaking your Wii? You putting like some games on there? Google Hangouts is getting shut down. Oh, that's not good. What are they replacing it with? Anything? Am I gonna have to go to some other kind of streaming platform now? I know there's what was it called? Wow, I'm really bad at this game. There's also a link in the channel about part. Brian, yeah, Brian's underscore man underscore cave. Yeah, that's right. A little bit different than I think my Instagram thing. You forgot AOL Messenger too. The thing I hate about this game is that when you shoot an arrow, you're kind of frozen in place until the arrow leaves the screen. Kind of drives you crazy. Oh, hey, James Campbell, what's up, man? Glad you can come in. At the time, I'm playing the worst game I could possibly think of, and that's Robin Hood. Although this is pretty cool because it's on the Zonix, however you want to pronounce it, double ender. And I did a video on this one a while ago. Watch me suck at this game. I don't think I've covered the other game though. I can't remember now. What was the other? Oh, I think it was Sir Lancelot. Maybe I did. I don't have. I think I have 3 of those double ender cartridges. They just look cool. Why is Robin Hood shirtless? Is he? Well, maybe he's just wearing a brown shirt. Looks like his skin color is pink. That little feather in his hat just seems to, like, fly around. Yahoo Messenger with the chat rooms too, but even those are never than ICQ and MIRC. I mean, Discord is like the new MIRC, sorta. Well, if they're gonna shut down Google Hangouts, then I'm gonna have to figure out a new way to do any kind of live, live chat with people. I don't have anybody lined up. I mean, other than, you know, talking with Tommy Tellerico again. He seems like he's on board, so that might happen. But I haven't actually had any live chats lined up. I've been thinking about it because, you know, I do have fun doing them. They are a little bit tricky because, you know, I have to find a time when we're both available to do a live chat, and it does take, you know, a little bit of more time and you know, stuff like that. But I kind of enjoy it. It's been fun doing them, so I'm not going to stop. But this one, the one I'm planning with Tommy, is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be more of let's talk about the misconceptions of the Amico. So it's not just going to be like a regular live chat where I do like the whole interview process and all that stuff. I mean, I've already done that with him. This is going to be like literally let's just sit down and talk about all the misconceptions people are having with the Amico. A lot of the videos people are putting out where they're talking about misconceptions and you know, that type of thing. You can use Skype, my friend. Yeah, Skype might work too. Yeah, I've heard about that one, using Skype. I guess there's a lot of ways you can kind of do live chats and stuff like that. No Alberta Premium Whiskey tonight? Actually, I am. It's exactly what I'm drinking tonight. I also have Canadian Club, but I didn't open it. Whoa, the black one. Oh, ah, crap. Uh-oh. Ah. A lot of YouTubers are using StreamYard. That's the one! Yes, thanks, Green Lantern. I knew there was something with stream in its name. StreamYard. Yeah, I need to look into that one. You know, if Hangouts goes, you know, out the window. And I think the good thing about StreamYard is you're able to stream in more people or something like, or you're able to do a little bit like different, or was it split screen or something like that that you couldn't do with Google Hangouts. I think maybe it was the split screen thing. You can have both people on the screen at the same time. With Google Hangouts, you can only have one person on the screen at a time. At least that's all I could figure out. I'm not sure if, you know, if I just didn't know a certain trick or something, but that was always my problem, was like, you know, if I wanted to have multiple streaming people, um, or even just, you know, I remember when I did my Sanye um, live stream, which was my very first one. There was a point in time where, or at the very beginning, where it was just my face on the screen, and I don't know what happened. I think her computer was just not responding or something, and so it wasn't flicking over to her face when she was talking, and it looked weird, where I was the only one actually speaking and showing my face. Retro Advisory Board. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for the super chat. Just wanted to show some support for all the videos. Appreciate your perspective. That's really nice of you. Thanks a lot. Can you play Dolphin next? See, so James Campbell's asking if I can play Dolphin next. See if you can keep jumping the walls. Yeah, jumping the walls. That's what I was heard after I launched that video. I started hearing that people are like, "Hey, you can jump the walls." I'm like, "Really? You mean I didn't have to like go through all that?" And but you know, where do the points come in? Oh, cool! Another super chat. Ryan J. Love the channel. Thanks, man. I mean, I just try to be me on this channel, so really just me playing some video games. Alright, let's do the Dolphin. I know it's going to be hard for me to do Dolphin because it was the same problem I had with when I was doing the video, which I just did recently, is that you can't really talk very well because you have to listen. Let's see, Dolphin. Let's play there. It's really cool, and actually, Mr. Toon, I remember he showed a picture of himself trying to play this on Twitter. He was playing it on his was it the PlayStation 2 you were playing it on, or one of those compilation discs? I can tell because you had a menu screen. I tried to super chat and it says you're not eligible. What? Weird. That's a weird one. Never heard that one before. Oh. Okay, let's try jumping the walls this time. You don't have to listen. Jumping the walls. Yeah, exactly. So let's try jumping the walls. I was trying to do the whole... Whoops. I think you're supposed to, like... How you do this? When they come up, you just kind of jump over them or something? Yeah, just like that. Oh, I tried to get the wave there. But then again, if you do this, do you get any point? Oh, okay, maybe chasing the squid guy? Oh. I think that was something I didn't realize you could do when I first played this on my, you know, the video. I didn't think about just jumping over the seahorses. Kind of seems like a glitch or something that they didn't really consider. And you get points anyways, yeah. Almost like when they programmed it, they didn't think about it. Like, hey, you know, someone can just keep jumping over these seahorses and never actually play the game properly. And I heard there's a similar kind of glitch with Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers, if I'm saying it wrong. Mario Brothers. Come back here. Still say Frankenstein Monster is the best Atari 2600 game, not counting pinball games. Yeah, Frankenstein Monster. That's an interesting one. It's a little bit more expensive too. I think to like. I think I've seen it on eBay for like 25 something, $30 loose plus shipping. Not one of the cheaper games you can pick up. You gotta time it. You gotta time it. You jump. Seems really grain breaking too. I wonder if you could play Mountain Man afterwards. Mountain Man. It's Mountain Man. I was watching the No Swear Gamers video today about Mountain King. That looked pretty cool. Didn't even realize those were seahorses. Thought it was a stylized tuna net. I guess it could be whatever you envision it to be. I mean, that's the thing about Atari, right? It's like majority of the graphics were left to your imagination. Like I even remember with Keystone Capers, those radios. I always thought they were jewelry counters, but turns out they're radios. They're the old style radio. But if you look at it, they kind of look like a jewelry counter to me. I don't know. And that the little dots popping off of it was kind of like the jewelry glistening in the light or something, you know. But that was my fault because, you know, I bought Keystone Capers and I never really read the manual, I don't think. I don't think you need to. The game is pretty self-explanatory. Never noticed that either. Thought it was seaweed. Oh yeah, I can see that. Could it be a seaweed wall? Whoa. Do you think this is like the precursor to Echo the Dolphin? I mean, if you've watched the Amico commercial or the teaser trailer or whatever that was just released, you can see there's an Echo game in there. Perhaps this is Echo's grandfather or father. I think I keep hitting the wall. Even trying to cheat, I'm not good. Thinking the same thing, yeah. Echo 2600. Yeah, I actually haven't played Echo the Dolphin yet. It's, again, it's one of those games that I need to give it a shot. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do a first time playing video on it. Just kind of like turn it on, start playing it, and see how it goes. I remember seeing one in a video game store near my house that I've gone to a few times, and they had one in box and all that stuff, and it was $9, and I turned it down. I think I was buying some Nintendo games or something, or they actually were selling some Atari games too, so I probably already had a whole bunch of games in my hand, and I didn't bother to grab it. I don't know if they still have it, so maybe I should go back there. And it only was like $9.99 or something, you know, $10. Not a bad deal. I just didn't really know anything about Echo because I never really tried it. I want to play the new Moon Patrol. Yes! The Moon Patrol game looks really good on the Amico. Zach Hancock. I don't know why I'm saying Hitchcock. Zach Hancock. It's a pretty colorful game for the Atari. I never heard of it till you played it. Yeah, it is. I mean, this is one of those games where they really make use of the graphics. Sorry to request and run. I gotta get back to work. Hey, no problem. Take care, James. I've been too burned by old new consoles coming out that I'll wait to see if it actually comes out. Don't think we'll ever see the new Atari. Yeah, that's a pretty divisive issue right now of whether we're going to get the new Atari VCS or not. My whole argument against the Atari VCS is we haven't seen anything. We've seen a concept drawing, and that's about it. And we've been told it's going to have some Atari games. I mean, that's not enough for me to really, you know, voice an opinion that it's going to happen, right? And I'm not going to slam it. I never have, and I never will. But I'm just, you know, it just worries me that we haven't seen anything, you know, for having been told that this thing's going to exist now for over 2 years, and to still not have anything. Whereas the Amico, we've got a lot. I mean, we got everything happening. We got, you know, even Tommy Tallarico being completely vocal on the subject, showing off all the stuff that's going to happen. We've even had some big YouTubers like John Riggs, and I think maybe even Hancock had actually, John Hancock, I think, played it at the last year's video game convention. So the thing is actually a console. It actually exists. The Echo game is a spiritual successor called The Big Blue, confirmed by creator Ed Anizuliata. I butchered that name too. Thumbs up for Brian's Man Cave and the chats. Thanks a lot, Jacob. Alright, take care, James. Have a good night. The new VCS sounds like a scam. I don't know if it's a scam. I think it's just people are just too ambitious to try and make money off of something that they might not know what they're doing. 2600 reminds me of in-TV nostalgia. But the Amico for sure. But the Amico for sure. Yeah. Well, the Amico actually has a date that's going to be released on, and that's what Tommy's been saying since day one. Like, he's got this date, it's going to be released, and so we're going to have to wait and see. But I mean, so far it seems like the Amico is going to happen. The Atari, we don't know. It's up in the air. I played Echo on a compilation disc for the Xbox 360. Oh, that's pretty cool. I always like the compilation discs, especially when that's the system you have set up, and then you can still just pop in a disc and play some old games. That's why I bought a lot of those discs for my PlayStation 2. I have a lot of classic games on that. Yeah, not a scam. People don't realize what goes into creating a tech product. Well, you know, in a way, like a scam is just a way to take your money and intentionally not give you anything, you know, in return. And I don't think that that's the intent. I think they really want to make a product. I think they really want to make it happen. I don't think it's just like, let's pretend we're going to make a product, take their money, and then laugh at them and run away. And that does happen. I mean, even in things like buildings. I remember on the news, you know, there was these buildings that these property companies were saying, yeah, we're going to build this building, and they started taking people's deposits and stuff for that, and then the company just disappeared, and people were out of thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's just like, you know, stuff like that happens, right? I don't think that that's the case for the Atari. I think they're just trying to, you know, they want to make something, but I don't know if they know what they're doing. Alright, Zach Hancock. Gotta go. Family night. Alright, have some fun with your family, man. Thanks for popping into the chat. Always pleasure to have you in. VCS totally wants it. I just don't think they were 100% prepared. No. That's the thing. They're not. They're not prepared. Let's play this train wreck. Well, I think they just got a little ambitious, and they're like, you know, perhaps it was a company that was able to buy the Atari name or secure the Atari name to pump out a product, and they got really excited, and got ahead of their time. And, you know, that's the problem with things like Indiegogo campaigns and stuff like that, where you're able to start taking in money before you actually have a product, is that it can kind of get ahead of you. And people are obviously on board because they're like, you know, hey, I want Atari to come back. A lot of us do. I'd love to see Atari back into the world. You know, in fact, for me, the Atari, to me, ended with the Atari 7800. And yet, you know, it did live on beyond that, obviously. There was the Jaguar and the Lynx and all that. But to me, the Atari was done at the 7800. I just... It just wasn't Atari to me anymore. It was, you know... So, to see it coming back, and this time well, even seeing just the at-games thing is cool. You know, seeing the flashback systems with the Atari name on it. To me, that's cool. Even though it's nothing new, it's just these games repackaged into an emulation machine. I still think it's cool seeing it. And there's a lot of games they're not going to be able to have on it, kind of like this one, because of licensing reasons, right? Like they can't have Donkey Kong in there, and I know that because Nintendo owns it and they have the copyright on anything Donkey Kong, and it's not going to be like in the 80s where Donkey Kong appeared on the Intellivision, it appeared on the ColecoVision, it appeared on the Atari, it appeared on every single computer. I don't think Nintendo's going to do that anymore. I think Donkey Kong is only going to appear on a Nintendo product, which is why we have it on the Nintendo Switch, where you can play the actual arcade game. So there's a lot of great Atari games that we'll probably never be able to play again without playing the original one, that is, because of the licensing issues, like Activision owns it or whoever. Although with the Intellivision Amico, it's pretty cool that they were able to secure the Magic brand, which is neat. A lot of great Magic games. Oh, the creep came back in. That means it must be 10 o'clock. Nice, you were still rocking. Yes. I'm rocking with this horrible version of Donkey Kong. Ah. Although I do remember borrowing this off a friend and still enjoying playing it, so... Heck, if I enjoy playing the Intellivision version of Donkey Kong, I should be able to handle this one pretty well. I think it's this level that kind of ruins it for me. I think they failed on this level. It's a party at Brian Man Cave channel. Yeah, it's a party. And it's Labor Day weekend. Woo! Ow. You fooled me. Yeah, normally on a Sunday night I'd be like thinking, geez, I gotta get to bed so I can get up in the morning. Not tomorrow. I am sleeping in. It'll probably be my last chance to sleep in for quite a while. You know, once the September season kicks in, the kid goes back to school, all the activities start to happen, no more sleep. Atari crepe. Labor Day for us in Canada, in Canadian too, yeah. Yeah, we get the Labor Day long weekend. That's cool in Canada. Atari Creep loves crepes. You know, the Atari Creep could start his own brand of crepes called the Atari Crepes. The Atari Creep Crepes. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I've always made fun of this one too. I mean, Donkey Kong looks like a gingerbread man. The barrels look like Ritz crackers. Mario's pretty decent, but he looks fat. I don't know why. He looks really fat in this one. He's got a really big belly. He's been eating too many cannolis. Or something. But this one at least is playable. The Donkey Kong Jr. on the Atari 2600 though. Not so much. That game is terrible. Only 8 here in Santa Fe, early for me. Gingerbread man can't stop laughing. He is, look at him. He looks like a cookie. And those barrels look like Aladdin's lamps or something. Or whatever those flaming things are. I've got a 4-day weekend. We start school Wednesday, went Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday's off. You know, I've always wondered, what's better, having Monday off or Friday off? You know, sometimes I think Friday is better because, you know, Thursday becomes like your Friday when it's during the week. So let's move into the Donkey Kong Jr. because this one's terrible too. See, I love Donkey Kong Jr. for 2600 too. I don't know. Oh. I just find this one to be a little bit weird. And those snap jaws, like, what were they thinking? Is that the best they could have pulled off? Although I think there was a better Donkey Kong Jr. for the Atari 2600, a homebrew. Crap. Or was it for the Intellivision? I can't remember now. Maybe it was the Intellivision. But the Intellivision already had a good version of it. I don't think I can jump that. I think I have to go to that top piece there. Oh, come on! Ah! This is where the little gingerbread man's trying to save the big gingerbread man. From the big... Ah! Man. Friday, because Sundays always feels like fleeting hours of a weekend and nobody has ever said, yeah, it's Monday. You know, my thing is, with the, you know, having Monday off, I always feel like you still go through a full work week. Like, it just takes forever for Friday to happen, and it just feels like a full work week. But when you have Friday off, the week goes by pretty quick. Because then by the time it's, you know, Wednesday, it feels like it's Thursday, and then Thursday, it's like, yeah, it's the Friday. But when you have, like, Monday off, you kind of do your thing on the Monday, and then you still have to go through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't really feel like a short week. Okay, I'm not playing this game very well. I always have a hard time on this one. Just defeated 3 packs of cheese crackers. I must stop. It's probably a good idea there. You probably don't want to be eating that many crackers. That's quite a bit. Uh-oh. I guess in this one too, there's no difference in the snap jaws. Like in real Donkey Kong Jr., you got the red and the blue snapjaw guys, if that's even what they're called. In this one, it just seems like there's only the one. And the difference is that one will go up and down on the ropes, the other one will just continuously go down. I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico, but I'm from Maine. Donkey Kong Jr. looks like Homer Simpson. That's one way to put it. And even on this level, there's only 3 keys. Ah! I've never myself been to New Mexico, but I have been to Mexico. The Mayan Riviera part of Mexico. That was probably the best vacation I've ever been on, was Mexico. I love the food. It was hot. Never had any problems with the weather. Nice time we had there. Gone on vacation to Cuba. It was alright. I mean, the food wasn't the best. I wasn't crazy about the weather when we went. I like the way he jumps too. He looks weird. Gingerbread is locked up in a cage. Oh, oh, oh. You know, in theory, this one should be a lot easier. Oh, jeez. I think this actually has a 3rd level to it as well. I think it's got that weird, the electronic level, or whatever those electrodes. Ah, landed on a snapjaw. But yeah, I just think I should mention this again, because I talked about it in the beginning, so if anybody came in a little bit later on. Tomorrow I'm going to be launching a video about my contest. I mentioned it on a previous video that I would like to do a contest, and it's going to be on some Atari games and a Pac-Man mug. And so check that out. Tomorrow I should be launching it. I pretty much have the video ready to go. And pretty easy contest to enter. Nothing complicated. It's just something fun, because I haven't done one yet in my channel. So if you're watching this now, just look out for that tomorrow. I was thinking I could have been able to set the video to premiere, and then I'd have a link and I would be able to drop down below, but I just didn't get around to that. So but yeah, I will be launching that tomorrow, so look out for it. This is going to be a short, like a 5-minute video explaining the contest, and then there's going to be a link to my website and email and stuff, where you can email in your submission. And just for the people watching today, just to give you a little bit of a, I guess, heads up on what it's going to be. It's going to be submit your favorite, or, well, not necessarily favorite, just any retro gaming memory you have. So that's really what it's going to be about. Because I was trying to think, you know, what's the best way to, like, you know, handle a contest, and like, I've watched a lot of other YouTubers who do these contests and things, and some of them are just like, all you have to do is like and subscribe, or something like that. And I thought I wanted to have a little bit more fun than that, than just saying, oh, like my video or whatever, or just leave a comment down below. So it's going to be, you have to actually put in a fun story. And it doesn't have to be your first story of retro gaming or anything like that. Just anything related to retro gaming that you like, some memory that you like, only like a paragraph or two. And yeah, so look out for that. That's coming out tomorrow. Really get you at the bottom there. Yeah, I know. Last time we went to Mexico, my wife's vibrator went off in her suitcase, and security looked like they were about to shoot us, thinking it was a bomb. Oh, sounds horrible. The sound effects when Donkey Kong Jr. climbs up is annoying. Yes, I think a lot of things about this game is annoying. You never got the attention of everyone in the airport security until that happens. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, so the contest is going to be for two Atari games. One's an Atari 2600 game, one's an Atari 7800 game, and the other thing is going to be a mug. Everybody can use a mug. It's one of those things that, it's universal. Everybody uses a mug at some point. Even if you just want to have water in there, it's still a mug. This is Enduro for the Activision's Enduro. What is the Dumbo 2600 game? Oh, I don't know. I've never actually tried that. Maybe I should. I think those were like games that came out. They were like some kind of like promo games or something. Should check that out to see what it's all about. I remember hearing something about that from someone. Darn it. Uh-oh, we're in the snow. It's snowing. It's snowing in Atari land. Unlike pole position, your car does not explode into a massive plume of flames and smoke. You just bounce off the people. Yeah, exactly. A mug is one size fits all. Who doesn't want an extra container? And this is a cool mug because it's one of those heat, what do they call it? You put hot water in it and an image appears on the mug. It's kind of cool. And it's Pac-Man. Everybody likes Pac-Man. This is no slipperier. No, it didn't feel like it was slipperier. It just seems like the graphics changing this. Thought it was a bug race. Yeah. I always thought the car does look a little bit funny in this. It doesn't really look like a car. I can kind of see what they're doing, now that you know it's supposed to be a car. You can see that those are supposed to be tires in the back. They kind of look like funky little legs. It's like a creepy little, whatever, tarantula thing. Yeah, heat activated. That's what I was trying to think of, too. The heat activated Pac-Man mug. It's really cool. It starts off with the Pac-Man maze being empty, and then when you pour hot liquid in there, you get to see Pac-Man and all the ghosts and the dots and stuff. I figured I might as well include that into there, rather than just a game or two games, and that way if someone that doesn't have the Atari, if they can still want to try and win the contest and just get the mug, I don't know. Or if somebody only has a 2600 and they don't have a 7800, they can't play the other game, so at least they get a mug. Whoa. Never really been good at these racing games. Oh. Alright, let's check out that Dumbo thing. Dumbo's Flying Circus. Oh, so it's a prototype. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Disney. Well, it's weird seeing Disney with Atari. Brian, you never seem to go to retro cons. Have you ever been to one? Actually, I did go to one that was in my area, and I did have a video on it. I did do a video where I kind of shot what I was doing, kind of wandering around talking to some of the, well, I mean, I didn't really talk too much, but I did wander around and I did do some video on it. But yeah, I don't go to any of the really, really big ones. I mean, this was just one in my local city. So it's kind of a small one. Wasn't anything like, there wasn't any really big people there. It's not like the Southwest Game Exchange or whatever, or Portland Retro Gaming. And, in Canada, we don't have a whole lot of retro gaming stuff. This is a weird, like, side-scrolling shooter. I guess you're Dumbo. I don't know what the heck he's shooting out of his trunk. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Bubblegum? Popcorn? It's a prototype, so I don't know if there's any information on this game. I mean, it seems like a pretty solid Atari game. I don't know why this didn't get released. Maybe it was like Disney was considering picking it up, or they maybe made this and tried to propose it to Disney and they didn't want it. I don't know. But yeah, if you go through my videos, if you click on my video list, you might be able to find it. I'm trying to remember what I titled it, but it was a gaming expo that I did go to, and I did shoot some footage of it. We need to organize one somewhere in Canada. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, the one I went to was pretty good, and it had all these video game booths and stuff like that. And it even had some guy who starred in a video game show back in the 90s. When we used to have all those video game shows. I didn't really know who he was because I wasn't really watching them back in that time. But I remember coming home and Googling his name and seeing a bunch of information about him on those shows. But there's also a Transformers convention thing that happens not too far from my house. In fact, the place that it happens in, I remember taking my daughter there to do her piano recitals. Or, no, what was it? Piano... something to get, like, awards and all that stuff. It was something to do with her piano classes. And they have, like, a Transformer convention there. And I remember it came not too long ago, and fellow YouTuber Transformers and Video Games, which I've talked about on my channel, I did a YouTuber spotlight on. He actually ended up going to it, so I was like, next year we gotta like meet up and do a collab or something. Collaborative video. Okay, this game's not that fun at all. Better get all the boot retro games gone. Yep. The Canadian stereotype. Although I don't remember ever saying a boot ever in my life, but whatever. I do say a lot. Eh? Alright. Let's play some fishing derby. 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 Hey, evil Ubuntu. This game is so hard to beat the computer. But it's fun. I first played this game on my PC when I got the Activision Classics for the PC. I still have it. It's a Windows 95 disk, I believe. So it's not going to run on this computer. But I had a lot of fun playing that. Got really excited when I found out I could play like Atari games on my PC. Especially these games where, you know, I didn't actually have them when I was a kid. Holy crap, the computer's like whooping my butt. The bloody shark just keeps eating my fish. I know you get more points for getting the fish at the bottom. Yeah, Fishing Derby's all-time greatest two-player game. I don't think I've ever played this game with two players before. I mean, I first started playing it on the computer by myself, and I didn't get my own actual copy of the game until really much later, like... Okay, I'm gonna lose. 56 to 99. Yeah, Frogs and Flies is a good one too. I don't know if I don't think I included that in my 5 must-play. I'm not sure if I included this one either. I haven't done one of those 5 must-play videos in a while, actually. I should try and think of what else I can do. Because I've done, like, Activision games. I can probably do a second Activision one. I've done 2-player games. I've done arcade games. It's just there's so many great Atari 2600 games. It's hard to narrow it down. Come on, fishies. Okay. Damn shark. Can you imagine that actually being an issue when you're fishing? Is having a shark come along and eating your fish? I remember fishing as a kid. I can't say I've ever had that problem. It's like I almost had that fish, except for that shark that kept eating it. Uh-oh, we're neck and neck. Come on, come on. Oh crap. I'm falling behind already. Oh man. I tell you, that fish is like, or that shark is like one-sided. Seems to always be on my side. Just when you think you're in the lead. See, he keeps coming over and eating my fish. Top 5 platformers. That would be a good one. Oh man, I'm gonna lose again. Top 5 Coleco arcade ports. Top 5 in television games with monkeys in them. Yeah, you know, I remember thinking about it in television, but I'm like, I don't know if that would be an easy one to come up with top 5 in television games, because I mean there's just so many different in television games that, you know, are kind of equally good. And I think there's there's already a list of like these are the must plays like Burger Time and all that, so it'd be kind of hard. And in television doesn't have the vast library that Atari does. Let's play some Frankenstein's Monster. Now, if I remember this correctly, you have to get to the bottom. I just thought with the Intellivision it would just be too obvious. Like, there wouldn't be anything really. Like, I think with the Atari, there's just so many choices that it's good to come up with a top 5 list. Because a lot of people want to get into Atari, and I see it all the time where people are like, you know, what's a good Atari game to play, you know, that kind of thing. Or, you know, I'm just getting back into Atari and crap, I don't know what to play. That's kind of why I decided to do the top 5, or, well, not top 5, but the 5 must plays, because I always see that kind of thing on the Atari forums and all that. And I thought, you know, this would be a good game, because if somebody's just deciding to get back into Atari, maybe they played it when they were a kid or something like that, then they were like, well, what game should I buy? That's why I decided to do it. And because there's just so many choices with the Atari, it was a natural fit for it. Justin Hoover is saying, sorry, the game is just a little bit covering the chat, but I'll try and read it. Oh, jeez. Ow. I just drowned. Frankenstein's coming after me. I don't know why it does this, where it covers up the chat on me. Did you ever play Tapper on the 2600? Great game, I just recently found out about. I don't know if I've actually played it. I have known about it though. You can jump down the first hole and save time on the second level too, but you jump from different spots in Frankenstein Monsters Pro. Huh. Whoops. Wrong one. I don't know what that is. Okay, let's play this. As far as I know, the enemies just kind of stun you in this. They don't actually kill you. Alright, so yeah, you do save some time by falling down that hole. It's kind of like Pitfall in a way. Only that secondary level where those bat things are coming at you. Those look like bats. I believe what you're doing is you're trying to build a wall or something to contain Frankenstein. Oops. I think I have to jump over or something. Go from this way? Ah, crap. Maybe you have to jump in the middle? Crud! Yeah, he's coming after me again. Looks like Frankenstein only has one big eye. He's like a cyclops. Alright, let's do this. Oh, maybe the platform is different. Oh, jeez. brick. Jump back up. Oh, jeez. Spiders. Ottawa has a pinball con. Huh. I just wish we had like those retro arcades like they do in America. I don't think there is any here. I've never heard of one yet. I mean, we do have like something like arcades in, you know, near downtown Toronto. There's or in downtown Toronto, there's like some arcade things, but they're not like the retro arcades. They're like the modern arcades. The heck is that thing supposed to be above Frankenstein up there? This annoying bat thing that just keeps slowing you down. I find sometimes I just fall in the water, other times I don't. Weird. I heard this game actually has an ending, but that might be a legend. I think if you build up a wall or something like that, it ends. Something like that. Is Brian anywhere close to the game ending? No, I don't think so. A lightning cloud. Okay, that makes sense. Those bats were annoying. That's all I could say. Annoying bats. Try some frostbite. I'm not good at frostbite, but I'm gonna do it. There's no retro arcades in the East Coast, only noisy places with token machines. We don't have anything close to a retro arcade. I mean, we got something like Dave and Buster's, and I mean, we still have Chuck E. Cheese, and they're just a disappointment all around. It's not the same Chuck E. Cheese I remember when I was a kid. Just not the same. Yeah, Frostbite is a fantastic game, if you can play it. I suck at it, but oh well. I've watched some people play this game and it's like, wow. Like, I can get to like the third stage, I think, and then... Does Canada have Dave and Buster's? Yes, we do. Yeah, we do have Dave and Buster's. I've never been in one myself. But I've seen them. I've seen them off the highway and stuff. I don't know why I haven't been in one yet. I guess I just never had a reason to go into one. But we've taken our daughter to Chuck E. Cheese, which is the kid version of it, and I'm kind of disappointed with Chuck E. Cheese. Like, it's all about tickets now. In fact, I have done a video on that where I was talking about, has Chuck E. Cheese changed, or what happened to Chuck E. Cheese, because it's just not like it used to be. And the fact that Chuck E. Cheese was originally founded by, the founder of Atari, and his goal was to make a place where people could eat pizza and play video games. Nolan Bushnell knew what he was doing when he made Chuck E. Cheese. But now it just seems like it's all about getting kids to, throw coins into a machine to get tickets to try and get some crappy toy that they're not going to play with after they're done winning it. I don't know. Oh, crap. Pinball Museum in Las Vegas is awesome. I think I've seen videos on that. I will never go into a Dave and Buster's again. Oh. I don't know if it's not gonna have like my kind of games. I don't really care. Like, I want to go to a place where I can play classic arcade games like Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Zaxxon. I want to play those. I don't want to play modern games like even you know, during the summertime we just recently, like 2 weeks ago, as a family we went to Great Wolf Lodge, and they have an arcade in there, and it's pretty much the same as like a Chuck E. Cheese. Like, all the games are all about winning tickets so you can cash them in and get some kind of crappy toy. So the games aren't really fun. I mean, they have like a Pac Pot, which is like a Pac-Man game, or it's Pac-Man essentially, but you only get one chance at it to beat the level, to beat the board, and that's it. So you swipe it, you get 3 tries to beat the board, get all the dots in one go, and I don't know. It's cool to be able to play a Pac-Man game, but that's about it. Oh, jeez. Ryan saying, what does your family think of your YouTube channel? Do they think it's funny how people from other countries watch you? Yeah, well, the thing is, my wife is not really into gaming, so to her, she's kind of on the fence, and she's not one that would ever want to go in front of a camera either. So I don't think she knows why I do this or how I can do this. And my daughter, you know, she likes it, but you know, she's still young, so I think they just they get annoyed, obviously, when I seem to be spending a lot of time making videos or editing. Oops, I guess I should be leaving. Editing videos, so it kind of does take my time away from family. So it is, you know, it's hard. Doing YouTube is hard. Having a family and doing YouTube is hard. That's why I see like a lot of YouTubers are, you know, some of the more successful ones might not have a lot going on, or they do it for a living and it doesn't really matter anyways if it's their full-time job. But when it's your part-time job, or if it's not even a job at all, it's a hobby, it's a little bit time consuming, and family could start to feel like you're avoiding them. You should come to Montreal then. Go with me and Grumpy Dice at Academic? It's full retro games. Actually, I do have a friend down the street, and his daughter is friends with my daughter too, and he's from Montreal. He probably knows what you're talking about. Whoa. You constantly put out great content. You've definitely earned your YouTube channel. Thanks, man. I mean, yeah, it's not easy. The thing with me is when I get something on my brain, I like to think about it constantly. And so, you know, now for me, my concentration is always on my channel. I used to be into playing, you know, trading card games. And so that's where all my attention was. And I was always, you know, playing those games and thinking about that. And ever since I started my channel, I kind of I stopped doing that, and I put my efforts towards the channel. And so I'm always thinking about how to improve it, how to, you know, what content. I'm always afraid of you know, not having content, or not knowing what to do, or not having the time to do it. And so it's kind of a bit of a challenge, because I don't want to, you know, get to a point where I don't know what to do and I don't have any videos to put out, and you know, kind of it's just always on my mind. So I'm always taking notes. I'm always thinking of what else I can do, how I can keep it fresh, how I can keep it going. I don't want to become repetitive, you know. So it's, you know, it's a challenge. And then to be able to find the time in between doing, my full-time job, which is where my money comes from, and my family, my wife and my kid. And I know I'm not unique on this. There's a lot of YouTubers that are in the same boat, and I've talked to a lot of them, and a lot of them say the same things. They're like, to try and come up with content, and to try and do the editing, and to try and do this, and you kind of have to sneak it in whenever you can. I mean, this is why I don't stream as much often as I used to, or I try to, or as I'd like to, because streaming does take a lot of time away, so. Barcades are somewhat the evolution of the classic arcade. No more coins or tokens, just entry fee. Yeah, that'd be cool. Just pay one fee and be able to play games all day. Brian, your YouTube followers should be known as cavemen. That's a good one. Yeah, I've had a few people saying things like that. Like, someone suggested they should be spelunkers, man cavers. I've heard a bunch of different things like that. Yeah, it was Ryan who said that. Spelunkers, Brian Spelunkers. Shows your content is well thought out. Spelunkers is good too, but it reminds me of that horrible game. Well, that's not good if it's a horrible game. Brian's bonks. I don't know. I've never really thought about that. I guess I just was never into the whole idea of calling people something just because they watch my show. And I even thought it was kind of weird with other YouTubers when, they call people watching their channel something, and I'm just like, it's kind of weird to me anyways that, for me to be calling people something. I know a lot of people do it, but my arcade is like that. You pay $7 and all games are free play. Yeah, see, that's something I would really enjoy doing. Hey, it's Transformers and video games. What's going on, man? I was just watching your video today. Really cool video of your what was it? Your garage sale hunting video. In fact, I was just talking about your channel today with my wife. We were driving around and there was some garage sales going on, and I was mentioning how you like to do that. And I kind of wish I had the drive to do that myself. I've always thought about that. I need to get the drive to drive around to garage sales and all that, but I don't know. Something about it just I don't know. Is it lazy? Am I lazy? I don't know. Maybe it's the fear that I'm not going to find anything and I'm going to drive around all day and waste my time. I don't know what it is. But I always think I should be doing that because I watch your videos and I'm like, geez, like, look at what he just found there for, $10 or $20 or whatever. I've always been the kind that would just be like, heck with it. If I really want it, I'll just go on eBay. But I did go through a phase where I was going to thrift shops all the time, and I've kind of mellowed out on that as well. I think I started getting annoyed because thrift shops started to get wise to the whole retro gaming scene, and now they think every retro game is worth a fortune, which we all know is not true. Should totally give it a try. Just wake up early. Yeah, see, well, that's my problem. I think the thing is for me on Saturdays, for instance, we get up early, and my daughter has like piano practice and all that, and or classes, and so I have to get up with my family, and we have to like get things ready and get them all set up and get out the door. And then Sunday they have their thing, and so it always seems like there's something that's, I just don't have the time for it. Hey, it's James Valvis, also known as Gamester Poet. Been a while, man. Whoa, jeez, I just jumped in the water. Kids that played in classic arcades are now adults. Yeah. Yes, the adults now are the ones playing these games because we could afford them. Ah, polar bear. Run. Oh, jeez. I always lose on this level. Santa Fe yard sales equals bad concept are in turquoise jewelry. Thrift shops in my area are rip-off. Old sports games are $8 Canadian, and my local Value Village. Ugh. Yeah, I gave up on that. I mean, I used to do that in the 90s. I always went to thrift shops in the 90s, and I remember, like, even, like, the early 90s, I remember going and getting, like, tons of Atari games. I picked up an Intellivision system, and like, everything for, like, well under $10. Like, I remember picking up an Intellivision, a full Intellivision system for $5. Working controllers and all. Because, you know, back then they didn't think of it as anything. They were just like, whatever the hell this thing is. And they put like a $5 price tag on it and threw it on the shelf. I picked up a Sega Genesis for like $10. I picked up like tons of things. And then, you know, as the 2000s kicked in, yeah, forget it. Like, you would see an Xbox and people would want, the thrift shop would be like, you know, $25 or something, and the thing would be all busted up, and it's like, forget it. And anything that would look old, like Atari, Nintendo, or anything like that, always ended up in the showcase for auction. And then you had to bid on it. Or they would overprice it. They would get like E.T. for Atari. It'd be like $15. Yeah, thrift shops. Well, yeah, thrift shop. And the other thing is, it's like thrift shops became the place to go for a lot of resellers who want to sell things on eBay. And I know because I did it myself. I went and I bought a lot of things from thrift shops for like really, really cheap and threw them on eBay. You know, it was a good little side hustle for a while, but it just became too time consuming, and you know, it was something I was able to do when I was unemployed, but now that I work full time, now I do, you know, Brian's Man Cave. So between that family, forget it. My time is like, I once got an N64 and 25 games for $20 at a garage sale. Wow. I bought a PlayStation 2 Slim, and it came with 2 controllers and a game in it inside of it from a neighbor, and that was like $10. So that was a pretty good deal. But then when I plugged it in, there's these 2 lines that kind of go across the screen. So I think the PlayStation 2, I don't know if it's just, if there's a problem with the laser or something. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it turns out it didn't work anyways. But I got the 2 controllers, which I can still use, and it was like a wrestling game that was with it. So, but the other downside was I ended up having to buy a power supply for it because he didn't have the power supply. And I paid like $17 in a video game store for the power supply, which, you know, kind of brought it up to about $27 I paid for it, and it's still broken, so I don't know. I don't know what to do about that, but it happens. Let's see if I can find another game to play here. Play some Junior Pac-Man. So far, my best finds recently have been a flea market. There's a local flea market where I bought a whole bunch of great stuff from, like Atari games and all that. Man, this game's brutal. Yeah, they discovered eBay. Well, that's the thing. I remember with Transformers and video games, his recent video, his current video that's up right now, he mentions that where people were doing eBay pricing, and they'd be like, you know, oh, on eBay this goes for X amount of dollars, and it's like, well, you know, eBay, first of all, you're not always going to get accurate pricing of what people are going to pay. unless you know how to do it properly and you go to the actual sold listings, and even then it might not be accurate. Because there's a lot of, like, really bad, I don't know, sales you could see on eBay where somebody has, like, some $5 Atari game that they're trying to sell for 40 bucks. And so anybody who's running a garage sale can go on eBay and see that posting and go like, oh, this game's worth 40 bucks. You know, even the thrift shops can do it. So, and really, I mean, it's eBay, so anybody can post whatever they want. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, people are going to price check and make sure that that's exactly what that thing is really going for. I mean, that's, anybody that's experienced in eBay will do that, right? They will, like, when I look for a price on eBay, I check several listings before I come up with a price. I don't just go to the first one that pops up going, oh, hey, 40 bucks. Junior Pac-Man is the best and hardest game for the 2600. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Yeah, Transformers video game saying, I hate hearing people refer to eBay at garage sales. Sadly, I've been hearing it a lot recently. Well, yeah, and it makes sense because that's the one area where they're able to, like, go into a search engine and just be like, how much is this? And it's usually eBay that pops up, right? And so, and they don't put it together that there's a difference between selling something on a, at a sale or on the store shelf or something versus eBay, because it has a much larger reach. eBay reaches people all around the world, and there's a lot of people that could just put up a listing and put whatever price they want, and that can sit there for a considerable amount of time and never get sold, and they could not care. I've even heard stories where people post the exact same item on eBay several times over with 3 different price points. And you're not supposed to do that, obviously, but they're like, hey, whatever I can get for this, I'll do. It's actually funny because I remember I sold something on eBay to a guy I knew was going to resell it. So he bought it off me, and I knew he was going to resell it at a higher price. And I knew that because when he put in a bid, I checked his profile, and he had his own store, and he was selling the very things that I was selling, and he had them jacked up at some insane price. So he paid, I think he paid $50 for the item that I was selling, and he was going to go and put it on his own eBay page for about $200. And he would probably just let that sit there until some gullible fool comes along and drops $200 in something that's not worth $200. But if they think it is, then, I mean, what are you going to do? Why is this game so hard? eBay is totally off now. I collect Swiss Army knives and the prices are way too high on eBay. Yeah, and I find, like, with eBay, unless you're doing a bidding, you either go for the buy it nows and you just keep looking until someone's reasonable, or you try your luck with bidding on something really cheap and hoping you get it. I agree. Also, eBay can list something for any price they want. Doesn't mean it's going to sell. Exactly. And that's the problem with eBay. That's the problem with people sourcing through eBay, because they don't know better. They don't know they're supposed to look at the sold listings, not the for sale listings. Never actually tried to sell anything on eBay. Well, I have an eBay store, and the problem with the eBay store is you get charged every month to have it, because I have about 150 items in there right now, and every month I have to pay about 30 bucks or 20 bucks or whatever to keep the store going. And so you got to keep filling it full of items. You got to keep filling it full of stock, or else you're going to start losing money. So it is a gamble with eBay. Not to mention, you got to deal with all the shipping issues, the shipping prices, and then when you ship something off to somebody, you got to worry that they're not going to get it, and then they're going to, or they do get it and they claim they didn't get it, and then you have to refund them. I mean, it's not an easy thing. It's definitely a lot of work. And when you do want to sell on eBay, you got to be, you got to get the item, you got to source it out properly, you got to know the price, you got to take pictures, you got to label it, you got to give a proper description. So, it does turn out to be a lot of work to sell something on eBay properly anyways. However, that being said, I still like the fact that I can pretty much find anything I need on eBay. I mean, I did get that good lot of ColecoVision games, which was surprising because I was only looking for the Rocky game, and I ended up with a whole ton of great games. So, there is that time where you do get lucky on it. Thrift stores don't understand this. They say I want Pitfall for ColecoVision. You can go on eBay and get it immediately, and so I pay a higher price. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, if you really, really want it, you can get it on eBay. If you can wait, then you can keep going and going to thrift shops and hope you'll find it one day. And then you never know what they're going to charge for it. Anyways, it's 11 o'clock for me, and it's kind of late, so I should pack it in. But I just want to thank everybody who came in on the chat today. It was really nice talking with you. With Ryan here and James and whoever's still in the chat at this point. And Transformers and Video Games for coming in. Also want to thank the two super chats I got today. That was really awesome. I wasn't expecting that. It was from Retro Advisory Board and Ryan J. Navarro. That was really cool of you guys. Thanks again for the super chat. Always appreciated. And like as I say, the money I get from this channel is going to go back into the channel. So anything I make, that's what's going to go back into me buying stuff to showcase on the channel. And like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a giveaway, and that's another thing that I like to do. So we'll see how successful this giveaway is. So if you check out tomorrow, my video is going to go up tomorrow. I don't know what time I'm going to launch it, but it definitely will be up tomorrow. And it's going to be it's just a fun contest where you can submit your favorite video game memory or just video game memory in general. You'll be entered into the draw, and you can win some cool Atari games and a Pac-Man mug. So just a little way of me giving back. And if this is successful and if it works and everybody's happy with it, I'll probably do it again. Anyways, thanks everybody for dropping into the stream. Really cool chatting with you. And the other thing is that I'm hoping to get another live chat with Tommy Tellerico to discuss the Intellivision Amico. He seems like he's on board, so look out for that. Hopefully that'll happen at some point during the week. If not, I'm going to do my own video talking about the misconceptions of the Amico. So watch out for that if you're into the new Intellivision. Anyways, thanks for dropping in. It's always a pleasure, and everybody have a good night. Well, if it's good night for you.